Welcome to Varsity. I am Bob Przybylo. Joining me as always is Scott Wright. And this week we're going to look back to Week 7, look ahead to Week 8, give you our locks of the week, and tell you where you can find us this weekend. Scott, looking back at Week 7, what stood out the most to you?
You know, I was really looking forward to my first chance to see Barry Sanders Jr. in action, and he was in a walking boot on the sideline. So I'll have to wait for another day on that. But another young guy that's really standing out to me is Brandon Swindle at Millwood. This kid keeps making big plays. 4 touchdowns again this week, 2 on interception returns, 2 on receptions. At 6'3" and still growing, it really surprises me that this kid doesn't have just a ton of offers coming in right now. I think it's going to pick up as people continue to see this senior tape that he's putting together. So Nebraska, Arkansas, a couple of programs like that have been interested for a long time and kind of on the fringe. I think we're going to start to see some of those teams coming through with offers pretty soon for this guy.
You know, you're talking about one big recruit. I got the chance to see another for the first time this season last week at Carl Albert Guthrie, and Kentrell Brothers was incredible against the Titans. He had 8 catches, 156 yards, and four touchdowns. And quarterback Brian Dutton threw for 5 touchdowns. It was build up as like the biggest game of the week, but Guthrie ran away with it. It's kind of shocking to me to see the Blue Jays look that good, but I think that tells you just how good this team can be now and going into the future. And now, Scott, with Week 8, what are you looking forward to?
You know, you look at Class 6A, especially on the west side, I think there are some really, really big games that are going to go a long way toward deciding some playoff spots, or at least kind of clear the picture up a little bit. We've got Edmond Memorial facing Midwest City. It's going to be a tough game to win with Cameron Doolittle possibly still sidelined at this point, but that's a huge game in that district, as well as Putnam City North and Lawton Ike. Those are a couple of teams that could be on the fringe. You know, the loser of that game is in a little bit tougher situation depending on what happens there. Putnam City and Westmore in 6A2. A lot of big games this week in those West districts in Class 6A. I think it's really going to help us get an idea of what the postseason could look like this week.
And I'm actually going to stay in 6A, but I'm going to focus on a West Side versus East Side matchup when Norman goes to Broken Arrow. Without question, the Norman Tigers have been one of the biggest surprises of this football season at 7-0. Junior running back Donovan Roberts has been one of the best players in the state, but now they go to Broken Arrow, and the Broken Arrow Tigers have been as good as advertised this season. They're 6-1. They're only lost to Tulsa Union. That's not a big deal. And led by quarterback Archie Bradley, this should be one of the best games of the week. Now, looking ahead at this week, Scott, what is your lock of the week?
You know, let me first say I've been really impressed with what Greg Willis has done with the Harrah Panthers this year, but I'm going to lock the Douglas Trojans this week. Douglas, it's been a while since they've had a really big game going back to the non-district season. They've had a few blowouts in a row. I think they're going to be really anxious to get on the field against an unbeaten top 10 team, and I think that they're going to be able to handle this one. Alliston Cobb is playing really well lately.
And I'm also going to stick in 4A, but I'm going to go with Clinton over Elgin. Quarterback Lane Kinney has done a great job since taking over, and you already know that Clinton has one of the best running games in the state. And I think they're going to find a way to get the job done against a good Owls team. And finally, Scott, where can we find you this week?
Well, if I'm wrong on my lock of the week, I'll get to witness it in person. I'll be at Harrah when Douglas comes out there, and then on Friday, that Putnam City Westmore game. So 2 really good games. I'm hoping to see some good football this week. And
on Thursday, you can catch me at Midwest City and Memorial, and Friday I will be at Cassidy as Bel Air Episcopal comes into town. And don't worry, cross-country fans, you are being handled by more blogger Justin Height. He is very excited to be handling the cross-country duties for us. So once again, newsok.com/varsity is your one-stop source for all the high school sports in the state. And Scott, we appreciate you joining us, and that's all the time we have for this week. But like I said, just check us out every day for the best high school sports coverage anywhere.